Yeah, whenever we're ready, let's go.
Okay, we're live now.
Good evening and welcome to the regular January meeting of the North Central Board of Education. Call the meeting to order at 6:30. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Lee?
Here.
Anthony?
Here.
Homer?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Shane? Here.
Any items from board members?
We did have a district resident that was interested in having the graphs put on from the survey, put on the website. I think that's a good idea. Also along that same line of thought, perhaps, and I don't know if it's a school website or if it's maybe our Facebook page or something, maybe there could be an area that residents could ask questions and someone from the school or our interested group that is going to help us with this levy could answer those questions. It's just a thought.
I like those thoughts, Lee. I also had someone contact me that's interested in serving on the levy committee as well. So Mr. Hannick, remind me when we're done and I will get you that name. And
I'd like to thank our student council advisors for the homecoming ceremony. I thought with the COVID, they done a nice job. Kids participated well, had a good family turnout. And so I'd like to again thank Marcia and Julie for a job well done, and Miss Myers for streaming it. I thought it went well. The kids had a nice little ceremony and did the best we can with the circumstances. So, and Mrs. Rosevic, thank you.
Yes, I heard it went really well myself. Any other comments? Okay. We got a public hearing for the school calendar. Mr. Hannick.
Thanks, Homer. The school calendar for the 21-22 school year. What we have to cover is we talk about the total hours in a year, the length of the school day, and the first and last day of instruction. So I'll start with the first and last day of instruction would be 8/18 of 2021 would be the first day. Obviously, that's August 18th. The last day of school for students would be 5/26, May 26th of 2022, and then graduation would be on May 29th, 2022. We would have 6 hours and 20 minutes of instructional time per day. We have a 184-day calendar, 180-day student calendar, minus professional development will be a 174-day calendar with roughly 1,101 hours and 42 minutes. So about 1,102 hours of instruction. This calendar was voted on by the staff and they chose, there was 2 choices. They chose option 1, which was what I just identified. If anybody's got any questions, this would be something that we would look at to adopt in the February meeting.
As well as adopting this calendar, are we looking at getting back to a normal school day? The 8, what did we go, 2:50 before?
8 to 2:50 is the plan, yes. I should have said that, 8 o'clock to 2:50. There's 30 minutes for lunch. Good question, Anthony. Which takes it to 6 hours and 20 minutes. To exactly answer your question.
Thank you.
I want to step back one moment to, unless someone else has something on the calendar. Back to, we received one request, and I'm sure there are several more. We will be putting a page out there to show what the graphs were from the surveys on the website, Facebook. Anybody that wants to know questions or comments, I would request that you get a hold of Mr. Smeltzer and make a public request, public record request for all the lists of comments that were made, rather than putting them all out on the web page. I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there for everyone. But we will get the graphs showing the results as far as numbers and percentages will be put onto the website and Facebook.
I've got them up. I was going to show them tonight during my report as well.
Okay, so they're already there.
Well, no, not on the website. I was going to share them in my report, and then we can get them on the website. I got to get,
Okay,
Myers can put them out on the website once we go over them. I got them so now that you can see the percentages on them.
okay, all right.
We waited all the way until Friday. We were still getting input this past Friday.
Well, I do want to make sure that them are out there, and I want the public to know that. But if you want to see what all the lists of comments were, please make a public records request. So I guess that will take us on to the treasurer's report. Mr. Smeltzer.
Did you do roll call, Homer? Yeah, we did. Never mind.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
You're okay. Better to ask than not.
All right, I've got 3 items on the agenda for the treasurer's report. I have the minutes from the December 15th, 2020 regular meeting, financial statements and investments from December, and a list of appropriation additions as follows. They are all grant funds totaling $40,691.27. So those 3 items are on the agenda for approval. I will just briefly mention the green comparison sheet that I give you guys every month, comparing prior fiscal years to where we are at current fiscal year to date. Just looking at the numbers from last fiscal year to the current fiscal year at the same point in time, we are about $320,000 ahead of where we were last year. And obviously that's due to some of the cuts that we've already made where possible, with attrition when staff members leave, not replacing if it does not need to be replaced. And then also with all the additional COVID money that has come into the school district from the state, federal government, and then also it's been mentioned many a times, but the Madison and Bridgewater townships, those donations have really helped us offset some of our costs. So we do appreciate that, but did want to mention where we were at so far halfway through the current fiscal year. And that's all I have, unless there are specific questions that anyone may have.
Any questions for Mr. Smeltzer?
So Eric, to be clear, when we receive those funds from the township, they are earmarked for a very specific reason. They are not to be used for such as operating is what we're looking for a levy.
Well, we use them where we could to offset any general fund expenditures that we could. There was a specific list of certain areas that we could use those funds for. So we did have to follow all those guidelines for COVID money, but we used as much of it as we could to help offset our general fund costs where we were allowed.
Thank you.
Anything else? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Anthony, Tim. Second. Call roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Hannick.
Thanks, Homer. I wanted to go over the numbers. That's number one on my report. Every single board meeting that we have, we go over the numbers. You get them weekly, but our numbers currently stand at 602 as of Friday, the 15th of 21. As of a year ago, which was, I got the numbers from January 24th of 2020, we were at 624. So we're down 20 some students right now. Open enrollment out is 80, 31 of those go to Hilltop. And our NOVA class through North Central, which is our students, we're at 76. So continuing to keep a close track of all of our enrollment. Second thing on the agenda, unless anybody has any questions about that. Second thing on the agenda, and I wish everybody was here so that we could take a picture, but this is Board Appreciation or Board Recognition Month, January of 2020. And I have certificates for all board members. They look like this. This is Lee's certificate, just for an example, but got one for everybody. And honoring our school board members at North Central Local School for January 18th, 2021. School board members exemplify local citizen control and decision-making in education. They volunteer hundreds of hours and immeasurable amount of energy to ensure that our schools are providing the best education possible for the children of our community. For all are their dedication, we are taking this opportunity to show them our appreciation during Board Appreciation Month. School board members are citizens whose decisions affect our children, what they learn, who will teach them, and what kinds of facilities house their classrooms. These are men and women elected to establish the policies that provide the framework for our public schools. They represent you, and they take this responsibility seriously by attending lengthy, sometimes challenging meetings, conferences, and institutes where they broaden their knowledge about education during numerous conversations about schools and sessions before the Ohio General Assembly. Our board is one of more than 700 such boards across the state of Ohio. These boards enable us to have local control of public schools, meaning that decisions on school programming are made by local elected representatives who understand the community's unique problems, values, culture, and circumstances. With the advice and counsel of the educational professionals they hire, our school board has an impact on virtually every aspect of our schools. It's a huge responsibility and that one should not be taken lightly. Too often we neglect to recognize the dedication and hard work of these men and women who represent us. The staff and students of our school district are asking all local citizens to take a moment to tell a school board member, thanks for caring about our children's education. So thank you to the dedicated men and women who make it possible for local citizens to have a say about education in our communities. We salute the public servants of North Central Local Schools whose dedicated and civic responsibility make local control of public schools in our community possible. We applaud them for their vision and voice to help shape a better tomorrow. Mr. Homer Hendricks, our president, 23 years of service. Mr. Anthony Burnett, 5 years of service. Mrs. Lee Boothman, 11 and a half years of service. Mr. Tim Livengood, 3 years of service. And Mr. Shane Martin, 13 years of service. That's a long time and a very dedicated group, and I personally want to thank them for their service, dedication, and caring about all of us, community, staff, and students. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions? Or go on to number 3. Number 3, we're doing a thank you to Bridgewater Township again. And I say that again is because they've come to the plate and helped us out again with a donation of $11,740 more dollars. I want to add that, more dollars. That gives us a total from Bridgewater of about $51,000 for COVID-19 expenses. I want you to think about that and think about how awesome that is and how much that helped us in a time of COVID-19, which I'll be the first to tell you, I'm as tired of it as anybody else. And all the things that have to be done to keep kids safe, because that's our number one goal, is to make sure that our students and staff are safe. And this helps us to do that. I want to remind everybody, on top of that, Madison Township has donated another $28,000. So let's not forget about that. And then on top of that, we got $35,000 of our own. So in total, and we keep good track of this, we've spent over $109,000 on COVID-19 related expenses. And if you add those up, a lot of it we've been able to offset with donations. And I call them donations because they could have given them to anybody. They didn't have to give them to the school. So there are people in the community stepping up to help us out. And that money that we would have been spending would have been out of our general fund. And that's sort of what Mr. Smeltzer was referring to. And I think that's what Lee was asking, Lee Boothman was asking. So those are all, that just kind of covers that. I also want to talk about COVID-19 in terms of how it's affected us. We've had 42 positive cases in our school, and that counts students and staff. We've had, I don't know if you remember the December meeting, it was 25 total. We're up to 42 now. So that breaks down to 16 students and 26 staff. We have had over 240 kids quarantined or positive since this all started, and we've had 53 staff quarantined or positive since this all started. So that's just some data to let you think about. Has anybody got any questions?
I want to, on that COVID, that 19, the money we've been spending, 109,000. I don't want people to think it's one-time use COVID items. I mean, we've done a lot of, we've got airless or hand dryers. We've got hand sanitizer dispensers. We've got some new floor scrubbers with that. I mean, we bought a lot of things that are great for the district long-term as well with that. It's not a one and done. We're wasting the money just to get us through COVID and then it's all garbage. So, I mean, that money's been going to great use to even help preserve and make this district better down the road once this COVID-19 is all lifted.
And again, it's things that have helped us that would have come out of the general fund, like Anthony pointed out about the scrubbers, carpet scrubbers and the floor scrubber. And it makes our staff have an easier time doing their jobs. We've also bought the electromagnetic sprayers that are used on our buses more than once a day and are used in classrooms or used in different places. So, I mean, and those things aren't cheap. So it enabled us to have these things to obviously at the end of the day, be safe, and it will last into the future. Anthony, you're 100% correct. So, number 4, just want to remind everybody that the 2021-2022 calendar will be on the February agenda, just so we don't forget. Number 5, it's the levy update, and I wanted to share the graphs. I have the graphs here, and I wanted to kind of go through, talk a little bit about that. I'm going to see here, I'm going to share my screen. I want to share this screen. So let me know if you can see it. You guys see a graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the pie graph, and then I also have a bar graph, but the pie graph kind of helps with the percentages. The first question was, what percentage are you related, someone related to somebody at NC? And basically 65% of the respondents, which we had approximately a little under 10% of the people responded to. We had 49 online responses and 77 paper responses. So under 10%, but 65% were related to someone at NC. And that's this graph right here. In the blue was the yes. It says 64.8. I call that 65. I use the approximate. The second question talked about the types of a levy. Here's the second question. I got it up here. And they're in different colors here, but the earned income tax is in blue, the emergency, the PI, which are two types of property tax right here in this region. And over here it was none. So if you break that down, earned income tax got about 33% of the respondents chose that. If some kind of a property tax, which these were exactly the same amount of money, the 3.9 mils, and it's actually 3.87 mils. It went down a little bit, but 420,000. That was about 47% of the choices was some sort of a property tax. That fell right here. And then 19% of the respondents chose, it's in the green here. It's 18.6, but 19% chose nothing. If we want to back up to question 3, on the questionnaire, it was fiscally responsible. Basically, 74% of the respondents said that we were fiscally responsible. Number 4, it was athletic support. About 80%, 79.5, I round that up to 80 here in the blue, said they support athletics. And then there were many insights and ideas to be considered for improvements and being involved. And I just want to say again, thanks for all those who offered ideas, who talked to board members, who took the time to fill something out and send it in. And we have all that information. The board obviously has every bit of that information. And I have these graphs that I will get Mrs. Myers to put out on our website in that spot where the survey was. I also have one that looks like this. It's a bar graph, giving you the same types of information, but this one's all in blue. It's the same information. Are you related? Talks about what kind of a relative you have. What type of levy would you support? And then this is earned income, emergency PI. These two are considered property tax levies. And the board considered that. And then fiscally responsible. And then do you support athletics? So those are our graphs. I don't know if there's any questions or comments. Anybody want to see any of the other graphs? I know you have all this stuff. We did allow people to continue commenting all the way up until this past Friday. So, and we took in every single survey and anything that was online.
I just want to comment real quick. I know we've gathered our facts on here. The time isn't closed for people to put their input in. I think all our emails, your doors are open. We're always willing to listen, take ideas, hear what the community has to say about the district, and, just listen and value their input. So just because we've got our facts on this, 10% would have liked to seen more. I know there's plenty of ideas and thoughts out there, and would like to welcome anybody to bring them to us. Email the board, email Mr. Hannick, Mr. Smeltzer, just to get out there and get some input.
Yeah, there's lots of ideas, and there's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than I am and know a lot more, so I'm willing to listen. And I guess as we move along here, let's see, what was the next thing? It sure would be nice to be able to, once we decide what we're doing, that we would start somehow getting groups together to start coming up with plans and ideas of things that we would like to see done and how we get the word out and where we go for different events. I think that would be really helpful. So Shane, I'll get with you with what you have, and anybody else that's got any more comments like that. And then I want to remind everybody that our next board meeting will be Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 at 6:30.
Anything else from Mr. Hannick? At this time, I guess we'll go on to Mr. Moore.
All right. Thank you, Homer. Hope everybody can hear me okay. A few updates from the elementary building. First of all, I'll be meeting with the kindergarten team this week to discuss a couple things. One being kindergarten screening. Historically, we've always had it in April, but with COVID last year, we had to cancel, move it back into, I think it was about the first week of August. So I want to sit down with the team and just talk about that, what that may look like. Obviously, COVID is still part of our daily lives and educational lives. So I just want to meet with the team, and we need to get the word out to the community members, whether we have it in April, whether we move it back into May. So I'm just going to sit down with them and get some ideas from the kindergarten team and move forward with kindergarten screening date in the future. Also, thanks to the board and Deb's leadership, that the kindergartners now have computers, individual computers. So basically, as I understand it, K through 12 is covered with devices for our students. So with the little ones, I just want to sit down with the kindergarten team as well and talk about expectations with regards to classroom, educational expectations, but also what's that look like for maybe the kindergartners taking them home, the devices when needed. So I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. But again, just I need to have that conversation with the kindergarten team and sit down with them and just work through a few things. But all in all, I think that's wonderful. I think that's great, not only educationally, but the COVID world, in case we would have to shut down, they would have a device as well. So that's what I'm going to do with the kindergarten staff here in the next couple days. Also, I met with the 3rd through 6th grade teachers last week, and we talked about mask wearing. The Ohio Department of Health changed some things up with regards to some of their new laws, policies, procedures, so to say. But anyways, if students wear masks, it's really going to help and limit the number of kids that we have to quarantine. So we talked, and they said, yes, the kids know the importance in those grades of why it's so important to wear a mask. And we started last Wednesday, I think it was, having all of our 3rd through 6th graders wear a mask. We're being flexible, like always, with regards to some mask breaks throughout the day. Obviously, at lunch, recess, those types of things, PE, we're not going to mandate it all the time there. But in the classroom, the teacher said, let's go for it. And so we started that last week. Mr. Hannick and I talked, got a letter around. He drafted and sent that out to the families. And so far, so good. I haven't heard anything from any of the families, with any questions, that type of thing. So we're moving forward with 3rd through 6th. We need to have the mask on as much as possible. Finally, it was a rough week last week with quite a few staff members out with illness. It's the year. It's what we have to deal with. And I know Mrs. Rosenbank's dealing with the same thing on the high school side, but I just want to let the board know and the community know that we're working extremely hard. Our co-teachers are stepping in without question to cover rooms when needed. Aides are stepping in to cover rooms when needed. Lunchroom, walking kids back and forth through the hallways. It doesn't matter. And our subs have done a wonderful job this year coming in with COVID and everything going on. I had to talk to a couple today and make some phone calls, and they're like, Mr. Moore, wherever you need us, and the same with the staff. So just want to let you know, I don't think it's going away. Hopefully next year things, look differently and start differently. But all in all, everybody's doing a great job. That's all I have. Anything else for me?
Questions, comments from Mr. Moore? Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Mrs. Roosevelt.
Thank you. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. Last Friday, we had our quarterly junior high awards program. We do it in the, it's just for 7th and 8th grade, so I can spread them out all over the junior high gym. It's kind of neat. We recognize honor roll recipients. We recognize students in 7th and 8th grade who did not have any detentions for the whole quarter. And for 7th and 8th grade, that's pretty tough for some of those kids. We also recognize we have what we call class awards or teacher awards, and teachers each recognize 1 or 2 students and they get a special honor. It went really well as usual. I challenge the kids every time to beat one another, so to speak. The 7th grade versus the 8th grade, as far as the percentage of students who are on the honor roll or who didn't get detentions. It usually works because they get kind of hyped up about that. We began second semester on January 4th, and yes, we had some glitches. We had kids coming back from Nova. We had some kids going to Nova. It kind of evened out the 2 numbers that we had, at least in the junior high and high school. So we're close to the same that we had before. It gets complicated because some of our students they're taking almost all Nova, but they're also in our building for a couple of classes because they know they need the face-to-face. And I'm just going to throw it out there. For instance, chemistry. It's difficult unless you're in the classroom with the kids. So they're coming in for instance, chemistry, and the rest of their classes are online. So it's kind of a hybrid, so to speak. We'll see. It's working so far really well. The kids are doing a great job with it. I guess we'll see how it goes in the future. As you can see on my board report, no live band and choir concerts, which really stink because I enjoy doing those and listening to the kids. I do go into the classroom and listen to the kids all the time. They are practicing, they're having some fun, they're learning a lot. So I'm very pleased with that. Graduation, I have no clue. I'm going to be real honest with you. It's still scheduled for May the 30th, just like always. We'll get closer to it and I'll let you know exactly how it's going to be. I had several kids who really liked last year's and they want me to do it outside. I'm thinking, oh no, but we'll wait. We'll wait and see what happens. Prom, right now I can't do it because right now specifically dances are prohibited. That could change. I saw the numbers today for Ohio and they're down. So maybe things are going down. At least that's the appearance. So maybe we can do something, but I don't know right now. And I'm not going to make any guesses because I just don't know. And that's all I have. Questions?
I just want to touch on what Andy said and second his reaching out and thanking all the staff and administration and everybody and doing a great job with, the masks. And we're all in this together and we're going to get through it. And we're moving in the right direction and we'll keep pushing forward. And one other thing, I kind of picked up on some of those surveys and I think it's a good idea. I don't know if we could do any more live streaming of some of our day-to-day operations, just so the outside public can, see and get an idea, what we do in the cafeteria area when the kids are eating. And especially now more than ever, no parents are in the building to really see what's going on. I know you can't, show the kids with their names on their desks and stuff like that, but I don't know if there's anything we can maybe videotape and stream live and put it out there for the public to see and maybe grow some more support for the district.
Okay. Some of my classes are doing some pretty neat things. My Sarah Luthi has a class in the afternoon and they're always in the hallways doing something, not an experiment, but some kind of project. And it's kind of neat to see. I stop and watch them all the time. And maybe we could do something with the choir as they're practicing or as they're out in the stage or something. That's a good idea.
Thank you.
I was hoping graduation, we could still come up with a way where we can have people, even if we have to do it outside.
Yeah,
You know, what I mean, we would like to have the families come, even if we can't fit everybody in the gym and something. We
Right.
can go down to the football field. We can do it out. I mean, we can figure something out where we can get people there.
right.
That's just my goal. I would really like to see whatever we have to do to get all the families in there and have a normal graduation, even if it's outside.
I
What
totally
do you
agree.
think, Marcia? Is that
I
possible?
would love it. I would
All
love
right.
it.
May will be here before you know it.
I know.
Anything else? All right, let's go on to Mr. Wadlick.
All right, so we are winding down for junior high athletics. On Wednesday, we have the draw for what tournament's going to look like. And this year, it's a little different due to so many games being rescheduled. They're doing the tournaments a little differently. So I'll know for sure what that'll look like on Wednesday. And then I'll be able to post that on the athletic Facebook page, and we'll get it on the school website as far as what grades are playing at what schools. Normally you all play at one school for the girls and one school for the boys, but just because we got to spread out and do different things, and it's going to look different this year. So I think there will be 4 sites for the tournament for that. And then for high school sports, we've got about a month left until tournament for basketball. And so we're cruising towards that. Tournament draws are at the end of the month for girls and the beginning of February for the boys. So we'll get to know what that'll look like. We are both at the Defiance District again, but with those tournaments, it sounds like it's going to be better seed host, kind of like what has been done for volleyball in the past. So there's a chance we could host some tournament games, or we could be traveling to different individual schools, but we'll know how that looks like more once we get to the draw. And then I just wanted to recognize Coach Failer with indoor track. He has done a ton of work with that, trying to find meets and stuff, and we got approval from the state to go ahead and start indoor track. So there's a couple of meets we're going to be able to go to, and even though they're not in Ohio, we will be able to qualify for the state meet if we have kids get the correct times or heights or whatever they do in their events. So he's done a lot of legwork with that to try to get us organized and make sure kids are eligible for that. So we were able to start that this month, and kids have been able to start practicing for that, which is good to see. And I think that's all I have. Haven't heard anything about spring sports as far as what that will look like or anything yet. I'm anticipating hopefully by February, they'll start communicating that, since you start playing games by the end of March, but there hasn't been anything from the OHSAA about what spring seasons will look like yet.
Questions, comments?
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Wadlick. All right, at this time, I need a resolution to approve the attached proclamation to set January 2021 as School Board Recognition Month in the North Central local schools. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Lee. Call the roll, please.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
And we need a resolution to approve the extension of benefits for the Corona Act through March 31st, 2021 of the Families First Corona Response Act. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
I have a motion by Shane.
I'll
Do I hear a
second.
second? Tim?
Second.
And this is basically to continue on the benefits for those that,
COVID leave that has been used by some. Obviously, they don't get it again. It's just, this is it. You can extend it till March 31st, and it may extend, you know, depending on what happens here after January 20th, it may extend for the rest of the year. So we can extend it until the 31st. And I figured we would do that. And this does not, this just covers the people that haven't used it. There's some that have already used it, the others that haven't. If in case they would get COVID-19, they would get the same that we've been doing for everybody else. So that's all that is.
all right, call roll please.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer.
Yes. I will say this right up front. I was the one that kind of said that the resolution for an emergency tax levy, I was the one that kind of picked what we did. It can be changed, but we'd have to do it quickly. The resolution to approve the attached submission of an emergency tax levy of the Board of Education of the North Central Local School Districts, County of Williams, Ohio, at the election on the May 4th, 2021, for the purpose of avoiding an operating deficit of the school district in the amount of $420,000 per year for a period of 5 years. This will be a millage levy. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll move.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments?
I'll just say that at our meeting last Monday, I voiced my opinion that I was in favor of the 0.5% earned income tax levy over the property tax levies after looking at the results of the survey that we put out and just based on my feeling that it is the most fair and also affects our senior citizens, which we have quite a few in our district, the least. So those were my reasons. I will support, when I go to the ballot, any levy that is put on for our school because I know the need is there. But I just wondered and was looking for reasons why we were going in this direction instead of the earned income.
Well, I just felt that overall, the millage was supported stronger overall because there was two different options for millage, and I totaled them up rather than individualizing them. Is why I felt like the millage was a better option from the responses that we got. Individually, yes, the earned income was the highest number. Any other questions, comments?
I just want to support what you're stating there, Homer, as well. I kind of felt the same way. I feel we've ran it both ways. I know neither one was premium election time to put a levy on the ballot and have people show up. Doing the earned income the first time, just didn't really see the numbers we'd hoped to see. Maybe with Corona ending, maybe the numbers would change. I don't know. At this time, I feel we just got to look at where we can get this levy passed, where we can get some additional funding coming into the school, and continue moving forward to keep this a great district and keep us going strong for many years to come.
Tim, Lee, either one of you have any comments? Okay. Call roll, please.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Thank you all. We need to have the resolution to approve the second reading of the proposed Neola Edgar revisions as presented at the December meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I heard Anthony first. I didn't even hear who said, who else was. Was that Lee?
Yes.
All right, Lee for a second. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane.
Yes.
And the consent agenda, we need, for employment, we need to approve Megan Carpenter as a cafeteria substitute. We need to approve the following supplemental contracts for 2020, 2021 as follows. Ryan Bethel as volunteer baseball coach. Jamie Brown as girls JV softball coach. Josh Hicks shared as a boys JV and assistant varsity baseball coach. Sam Pettit shared as a JV and assistant varsity baseball coach, and Alyssa Swank as the girls assistant softball coach, along with the Ohio School Boards Association 2021 annual membership, which is, that's on a per diem, right, Mr. Smeltzer? On a per diem rate that totals up to $3,865. We also need to approve the Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center teacher and paraprofessional substitute list dated December 16th for the 2020-2021 school year. Do I hear a motion for the consent agenda as presented?
I'll move.
I have a motion by Tim. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shane. Any questions or comments? Call roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Any reason to go into executive session?
You're
Yeah.
muted, Mr.
I'm sorry. I said,
I
yes,
forgot.
personnel.
Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session for personnel reasons. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
I'll move.
I missed
There.
Tim, second by Anthony.
Yep.
Any questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony.
Yes.
7:18.
It's actually personnel and employment is the technical term.
Any action anticipated?
No action.
There will be no action anticipated after the executive session.
No action.
Thank you, everyone that is listening, that will listen. If If you have any further questions or comments, please contact Mr. Hannick, Mr. Smelter, or myself. Thank you.
Thank you.